Before starting, I want everyone watching this video to go show some love and support to the channel Defend PTR, which I will add a link to the channel in the description of this video. All the footage from the anime comes from this channel. There's no way that this video could exist without this channel, since all of the DVDs I found online don't work in the US. Also, I urge you to watch the anime and form your own opinion before watching this video. I also found out earlier this year that Parappa the Rapper has an anime, but I'll probably cover that at like 100 subscribers. Or if people really ask me to. So I'm sure it'll happen at some point, but I give you my word, it will happen. It will happen. It will happen. It will happen.
Unit 5, Sector 8. Clear. Wideband scan 44.1 gigahertz. Random search block 1. Roger that. All units, assistance required on 7th and Jocelyn. Level 5 on our way.
Anyone remember this game? Well, I guess that's not important. What's important is I did this to myself. I've really been struggling with a lot of things lately, not feeling good enough to post on the channel, and the stress of the holidays, and having my personal space plagued with these ungrateful urchins. You know who you are! Oh, and talking about some random rapping cartoon dog that has consumed my life for the past year or whatever. So time to answer the question, is it any good? Watching this show is another level of suffering that I don't ever think I've experienced before. The fact that it starts off with so much random bullshit thrown in is why this video was a real chore to make. Unlike my Jammer Lammy video, regardless of the problems I had with that game, I had fun playing it overall. This, however, is the most soulless adaptation that I think I've ever seen before, for reasons I'll get into later. I know this video is probably going to be the most divisive video on the channel when talking about the history of the anime, but I'm giving you my honest opinion when I say that this show could have been so much better than what we got.
ウェディングドレスを着たサニーちゃんが2人。この2人を妻とすることを誓うか。誓います。
I praise the Jammer Lammy game for its wacky bullshit story, but the difference between the game and this show is that the game only has 7 levels of wacky random bullshit, and it's so short it doesn't overstay its welcome. The show has 30 episodes total, with 2 seasons of complete nonsense. Okay, maybe that's not fair, with only 1 episode that I liked. I know this show was made for kids, but come on, kids are a lot smarter than this.
はい、どうぞ。怒りの KT パーン。やっぱやめとく。大変。
はい、やっちゃった。シスターコーンに怒られちゃう。
あら。
あ、シスターコーン。
ケイティダメよそれは。
ごめんなさい。
金庫返して。
あ、金庫。あ、
どうしたの？ケイティがガレージセールの売上金の入った金庫。
盗んじゃないわ。
でも持ってる。
This is obviously supposed to be played for laughs, but honestly it makes the characters come off as idiots, and there are so many moments like this. Like the entire conflict of episode 7 where Chief Puddle is upset because he wants to marry this woman, but they can't because her father doesn't approve of him. Not because he's a dog. Racism, am I right? Or not good enough for his daughter or something sensible, since being a fireman is a dangerous job and he doesn't want his recently married daughter to become a widow. Nah, because firemen make him piss himself. Dude, if you don't take your ass to therapy or something, like these are 2 grown-ass adults and she does not have to listen to you. And the episode where Sunny gets kidnapped by these ghosts who aren't scary at all, so the gang helped them become scary again, just for Parappa and friends to run away since it clicked in their tiny fucking brains that they're ghosts. This shit had me rolling my my eyes so fucking hard, like you dumbasses have been with them all night scaring the shit out of people just to turn around and run away. And don't even get me started on the fucking Boxy Boy episode. All Parappa had to do was place Boxy closer to his sister Pinto, like by her feet. Or just take him with you to the bathroom, put him by your feet while you take a shit. Like if you're in public and you have your stuff like a backpack or a purse, why would you leave it on the sidewalk unattended, then act surprised when you come back and it's fucking gone? Not to say that I don't like the characters. I enjoy the fact that this show gives all the main characters room to grow far more than anything we've seen in the games, but at the same time, they don't feel like the same characters as the video game. Instead of the show acting as an extension of the characters, it's almost like the writers decided to make them completely different, for better or for worse. Like Sunny Funny, she actually has a character in this show and a personality besides from being just the love interest. I mean, she's shy and just as nervous as Parappa is, and she can't keep a secret to save her goddamn life. And in one of the episodes featuring her ends on a somber note. The episode was still shit, but at least after face planting down a flight of stairs, they managed to stick the landing. Let's just get this out of the way. They really had the balls to call this show Parappa the Rapper, and he doesn't rap. Like at all. And the last little tidbit in the final episode doesn't count, since everyone in the club is singing. This scene feels like it was only put in the show because the writers remembered that they made a show about a rapping dog that doesn't rap. I had no knowledge going into the show whatsoever. Hell, I'll say again, I didn't even know it existed until January of last year. But I thought Parappa would at least be a musician of something, or that the series would have to do something with music. And no, not in the fucking background. I mean, to be fair, it is good and catchy, and I caught myself humming the theme song in my depressive December slumber, because the only character in this anime who is a real musician is PJ, which is awesome. I mean, bravo for showing some continuity to the source material. This is not Parappa. He could literally be replaced with someone else, and it wouldn't change anything about the show. Hashtag not my Parappa. I truly believe that this show should not be called Parappa the Rapper the Animation, or whatever the fuck it's called. Instead, in my opinion, it should have been established as the misadventures of Parappa, or Parappa and Friends. And honestly, if they did that, I wouldn't have much issue with it. This could just be a me issue, and maybe I'm reading way too much into this. It could just be the cast going on adventures. Cool, I'm solid, let's chill with the boys. But that's not what we got. Parappa doesn't rap, so don't call the show Parappa the Rapper. That's like making a show about Sly Cooper, calling it Sly Cooper, Dangerous Heist. And the entire premise of the show is Sly doing the most mundane shit, like going to the grocery store, and entire episodes revolving around watching TV with Bentley, Murray, and Dimitri. And the audience are just sitting there like, who the fuck asked for this? And more importantly, who the fuck wants to watch this? Yeah, let's pitch, greenlight, and make an entire show about a thief that doesn't fucking steal. And you want to know the real kicker? I still haven't even started talking about Parappa's character. Parappa is like the goody two-shoes of the group, the nice guy. He's still insecure about a lot of things, but for the most part, besides not being a rapper, he comes off like a childish version of his video game counterpart. Like, Parappa is 16 in the games, and if you were to watch this show with no prior knowledge of the video games, you would think he was at least 9 or 10. This character is not a teenager. And I'm also aware that this show is supposed to be a prequel, at least according to Google and the wiki, so please don't be annoying about it in the comments. But that does not change the fact that they should have gone with a different name. And rereading this segment makes it even worse, since it's supposed to be established as a prequel. Like, there's no excuse why this dude isn't a rapper. That could have been the entire focus of the show. Like, picture this. Parappa is a normal kid who hangs out with his friends, doing all that kid shit. Then he could discover rapping from one of Kogmushi's shows, or something like that. He's mesmerized by the lyrics, the flow, the delivery, so he's going home repeating the lyrics over and over. His friends encourage him to start writing his own lyrics, and after time, he finishes it, and it's complete ass. He wants to throw in the towel, but he doesn't feel like he'll ever be as good as Kongmushi. He tosses his notes in the trash and goes for a walk. On his walk, he's thinking about his rap. What's missing? How can I improve? His insecurities start to take over, clouding his mind when it hits him. He just starts rapping about how he feels. After doing that, he tells himself that he can go so much further if he doesn't give up and believes in himself. On his way back home, Parappa discovers that one of the nearby clubs is hosting an open mic night, and MC Kongmushi is going to be there in 1 month. so he decides to go for it and shoot his shot no matter what. Each episode is Parappa coming up with his rap, and piece by piece by piece, he does so by hanging out with his friends, family, going to school, or just practicing on his own, gaining inspiration from the situations each episode in the season. And the finale is the day of the open mic. Like, holy fuck. I know it's not perfect, but at least that, what I just came up with, has something to do with rapping. Even Jammer Lammy, regardless of the random shit that was in that game, still had something to do with the main character being a musician. That was tied, I feel like it was well done, tied into the themes of the game. This show completely fails at being a prequel. Fucking prequel. Prequel to what? He doesn't rap. He doesn't even start rapping, like, come on. I'm going to be blunt about the reason why this video took so fucking long to make. It's because of things like this. I feel that some episodes start off normal with a cohesive plot and over time just devolve into jiggling keys in front of your baby type shit. How the fuck are people watching this? Between episodes, I would just get curious and scroll to the comments just to see what people thought about it. And to my surprise, people were saying things like, this anime is really good. It's funny and I like it. And I'm just sitting there like, are we watching the same show? Do these people seem to be enjoying this? Am I in hell? Can I watch the show that y'all are watching? My brain is fucking jelly. Every goddamn episode just turns into the most incohesive shit, and not in a good way. I feel like the only episode that I sat down and thought, hey, that was a good episode, was episode 2. If I had a gun to my head and I had to recommend any other episode besides episode 2, I would dead ass look at the person holding the gun in my face and tell them to pull the fucking trigger. Cause I can't. I'm not gonna sit here and fucking lie. I'm not gonna write some bullshit script about why I enjoyed something I fucking didn't. The only episode I liked was episode 2. The rest, just fucking turn that shit off. Let me just go into why. The episode features mostly Katie Cat and her friendship with this old woman named Dorothy, who like forces Katie to hang out with her. But while they're talking to Dorothy, she reveals that she used to be a dancer, and Katie here is having fucking none of it. Later, she sees Dorothy dancing in a rundown theater. After PJ and Matt scare the shit out of Katie and Dorothy, she tells her that the old theater is scheduled to be demolished, and that she feels like she's going to lose all of her memories she made while there. Katie finds a film reel of Dorothy and her dance partner dancing, and shows it to everyone. Dorothy then agrees to perform, so they put in all this work into fixing up the theater, placing flyers all over town, the works. Then the goddamn crackhead Gaster throws them all away, so no one shows up to Dorothy's performance. Then Dorothy's long-lost dance partner shows up and they perform. Everyone loves it, even Gaster. The nigga that sabotaged the entire event in the first place was moved to tears, and even tries to defend the theater from being demolished. It's just a very sweet episode that wasn't plagued with LOL random, minus the blackface. Like, what the fuck? I was debating talking about every single episode, but after weeks of sitting on this idea, I've concluded that this show is not worth the effort. You right now, you sitting there, are probably watching this thinking it's clear that Quinks for Days doesn't like this show, and that he's just being harsh. No, I'm not. As much as I don't like this show, the animation is good, the background music is fun, and you can tell that the people who worked on it did the best they could with what they were given. But what if I was to tell you there's a reason why that this show feels so strange and a complete departure from the original source material? And that there's a bigger reason why this dumbass kids show tormented me for almost 3 months, and it was all because of Sony. Do I also blame the writers of the show? Because as much as I want to, I don't. I know in these situations, the higher-ups call all of the shots, and if people don't fall in line, they can get fired, hell, even blacklisted from the industry. It sucks, and it sadly happens all the time. But this show suffered because Sony wanted to sell toys. I'm not fucking kidding, and I wish I was, at least to the sources that I found while looking into the history of this anime. The co-creator of this series, Rodney Greenblatt, stated in an interview that this show was originally planned to be aimed for a teen audience. But Sony said, fuck that shit. Dumb it down, we can milk those little bastards in toy sales. But here's the problem. Why can't you do both? Really? Why can't you do both? I want to know. I really want to fucking know why you can't do both. If you prioritize making a good show to begin with and working with, not against the people that fucking made it, you can have your toys, merchandise, and then some. This really pissed me off. I didn't expect to fall into this depressing rabbit hole. I didn't expect anything special after watching the entire anime and thinking that it's just nothing but an uninspired, bottom-of-the-barrel kids show. But I did not expect to see the creators get disrespected. That's why I stated in the beginning of this video that this show could have been so much better than what we got. Imagine if fans got the show that Rodney Greenblatt originally planned for, and this dogshit show that we got never left the cutting room floor. I don't know about you, but I want to live in that timeline where this shit gets forgotten. No Masan, no Lammy. I don't care about these fucking nobodies. If you don't bring my girls back, you know what? Scratch that. I hope this anime never gets forgotten and is remembered for all time as what happens when greedy corporations prioritize selling merchandise over making a good and faithful adaptation. That would still make money because it's a good and faithful adaptation, dipshits. The fuck is wrong with you, Sony? As far as kids shows go, you could do so much better. And for children's anime, do I even need to say it? Digimon. You want a good children's anime? Go watch Digimon. And you know what sucks? I completely did this to myself. I have no one to blame but myself. Stay squishy. Hey, real quick, you guys think I burned my bridge with Sony? Because I see you making a new Patapon game, and I'm sure I'll play it when it comes out. Huh? They're making a Gravity Rush movie? Aw, you motherfucker!